Hi everyone, welcome to the muster drill. I'm Scott, and there are big changes coming to COVID protocols on cruise ships taking effect on March 1st. Let's talk about it. Hi everyone, welcome back. So before I start talking about the big thing that everyone's been waiting for, the thing everyone's talking about on all the cruise boards and in the Facebook groups, I want to recap what I talked about in last week's video. Most of the cruise lines have chosen the middle of the road of that program, which is the highly vaccinated. And the specifics of that are 95% of the crew and passengers vaccinated, but not up to date, which really just means not boosted. So that news leads us right into the big announcement. So for Royal Caribbean, effective February 28th, and for Carnival, effective March 1st, masks are no longer required and become only a recommendation by the cruise line, which means you don't have to wear a mask anymore if you don't want to. Now, let me clarify a couple of things about these new policies. So you're still going to have to wear a mask during the embarkation and disembarkation of the ship. And some ports are still going to require you to wear a mask. You have to check out the information on the ship to see whether or not this particular port that we're at is going to require that. But the big news, the big deal here is when you're on the ship and you're indoors, masks are only going to be a recommendation now, which means that you're not going to have to wear it if you don't want to. So before I get too far down this no mask rabbit hole, I wanted to mention a couple of other changes to the COVID protocols effective March 1st. That's going to be they're extending the test time from 48 hours to 72 hours. So basically back to where it was before they shortened it due to, I think, Delta or Omicron or whatever. So now you're going to have 3 days to get your test. So that's a little better, but obviously it's, not as good as hearing that, hey, in addition to not having to wear a mask anymore if you don't want to, you don't have to get a test anymore either. I mean, that's the ultimate thing that we all want to hear, but we're not quite there yet. Baby steps, I think, for this one. And then the other thing I wanted to point out on Carnival is Carnival and there wasn't a lot of announcement about this. Carnival has this slight adjustment to the testing requirement, and that is for anyone who's tested positive for COVID within 90 days of their sail date, and it's been more than 10 days since they tested positive, and can produce a letter from a healthcare provider stating that they recovered from COVID. So in lieu of the negative COVID test result, you show up with that letter. As long as it has all the dated information on there, like when you got COVID, and that's within 90 days, you're good. You don't need that test. So I actually have a client that's probably going to be exercising that option, so we'll see how that goes. But that's kind of, that was really news to me. I was actually kind of shocked when I found out about that. So, but it's good news, I guess, for some people who, recently recovered from COVID and are getting on a cruise ship. So, okay, now getting back to the main thing here, which is masks are now optional, or will be optional as of March 1st. So I'm sailing on the Carnival Sunshine on February 28th, and part of the big, huge fanfare discussion on that board, and of course other boards as well, there was a question posed to John Held, and the answer that John gave to it wasn't exactly black and white or cut and dry. So I'm going to be throwing that up here on the screen too. I mean, he kind of says, yes, you know, you missed it by a day, so you're still going to fall under the old rule for the entire 7 days. But then he also kind of says, well, but there'll be some flexibility. So it's not a real clear-cut answer, you know, yes or no, or, you know, yes only for the first day, and then from the second day on, you're good. You can join the rest of the fleet and any other ship that sailed that day. I mean, we're not really getting that answer from him, but I'm going to throw that up here again. You know, now I can tell you that from most of the boards that I've been on and most of the groups that I've been looking in, anybody who's sailing on February 28th intends to, at the very least, practice that new policy the following day, but quite a few people intend to kind of fudge it and just kind of dare, you know, kind of put that into effect the day early on February 28th and just kind of see what happens. My guess is nobody's going to say anything to him, because nobody was saying anything about that before, while they were still, quote, mandatory or, you know, required. So nobody was really saying that. I don't think anybody's going to say anything on the 28th about it either. So yeah, so I mean, that's the big, huge news. I mean, like, hooray, right? That's what we've been waiting for. Everybody's been waiting to be able to take those masks off. And when I was on the Mardi Gras at the beginning of the restart, you know, they were recommended then as well, but almost everyone was wearing them. By the time I had, and that was in August, by the time I had gotten to the Horizon cruise in October, there was not a lot of masks in sight. So I would assume that that kind of attitude is still very, very, you know, prevalent out there. And I would expect that moving forward, you could probably count on one hand how many people are wearing a mask. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but that's just how I feel about it. That's what I think about it. So, of course, I had mentioned earlier in the video, I'm going to be sailing on the Carnival Sunshine out of Charleston, South Carolina on February 28th. I'm really looking forward to it. I love Charleston. You know, I wish I could have gotten in there a little bit earlier to, you know, do some additional sightseeing in Charleston, but I've done an awful lot of sightseeing there, but it's just a really great city to walk around in. So I'd seen something that somebody had posted online about between Charleston and Savannah, and they said that Charleston wasn't as walkable as Savannah, and then I think people showed up at the original posters doorstep with torches and pitchforks, and in complete disagreement of that. But it is a great city, and I walked all over it. End of this week, I'm going to be heading down there, and I'm really looking forward to it. And then I'm going to be on the Carnival Legend just a week later. So really looking forward to that one as well. So I'm going to be doing, for the first time, I'm going to be doing my COVID test through the Binex, the eMed Binex Now test here at home. I've got everything set up here and ready to go for it. Now, I was originally thinking that I was going to do some recording of that and do another video. There's a lot of videos out there right now from my fellow YouTubers showing, you know, how that whole process is with screen recordings and everything else. So I don't think I'm going to do that. But, you know, so if you really are curious about that or whatever, I'm sure you can find one of those videos pretty easily on YouTube and check it out. Big news is no more masks, or masks are recommended now as of March 1st. So, and I think I'm just gonna finish this video off with some lost footage of the water test from the Carnival Horizon in October of 2021. Done a previous video on the Carnival Pride. I also did a video on the Mariner of the Seas, which I don't know, I can't remember if I posted that or not, but in any event, you have to just decide how you feel about that. I have yet to conduct one of these tests that didn't really kind of disappoint me as to, you know, what's in the water. I think that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you very much for tuning in. And if you like this video, don't forget to click that like button. And then don't forget to click the subscribe button. It won't cost you anything. You click it once and you're done, and it'll really help us out a lot. And then don't forget to click that notification bell so that you know every time we upload a new video. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.